Hello and welcome to another action-packed edition of Temporary Australians. I'm Jonesy.
And I'm Hirsty.
And we're at Moto DNA. Let's get into it.
Also on the show, we find out why some riders reckon Tassie is motorcycle heaven. We find out why they rant in the top end. We check out a nifty custom Hyundai. Jonesy checks out a Softail Harley Davidson for his shed. We find out why Victory's Jackpot is so popular. We find the drag racer who flies a territory flag. We check out some good news on lane filtering and discover how committed Superbike privateer Sean Condon is to racing. Sean, I've been amazed at the motorcycling friendly roads you've got around Hobart. No wonder you love living down here.
Well, look, I've been riding for 35 years, and I think it was probably in the early 80s when I first heard the expression Tasmania was Australia's motorcycling heaven, or maybe some people call it motorcycling mecca, or just paradise on two wheels. Or if you're not religious, it's just the best damn place to ride a motorcycle. I know there's great rides in other states, there certainly is, but here in Hobart, where I live, you literally have only got to go 5, maybe 10 minutes out of the CBD, and you're into curvy road with some great views, great scenery, and not too much traffic.
Well, that ride to Mount Wellington was just spectacular.
Yes, and look, Mount Wellington, I think, is like one of those things where you live that people don't always visit. Like, I wonder how many people who live in Sydney have done the bridge climb, for example. But so here in Tasmania, I think a lot of people probably do take Mount Wellington for granted and only tend to maybe visit it when they've got people coming from interstate.
It's a special place to go, so great views from up there, and even though it's only a short road, it's it's still a good bike riding road.
You've picked up it's a bit of a secret for the locals down here. Maybe you don't want too many interstaters going up there and enjoying what you got.
Mate, we've got some great stuff down here for motorcyclists, and I think Tasmania's become a bit of an icon sort of place to come for motorcycle riding, and we see every year that there's thousands of motorcyclists coming down here just for our great roads.
Yeah, there's a considerable number of Harley riders in Tasmania. We've got well over 200 members of the hog group in Tasmania. The roads are excellent here, and wherever you go they're great, particularly the west coast where we just went for the rally. Everybody had a great time there, terrific roads.
There's some good wines through the east coast and national parks, so the Midlands and right through whichever side of Tassie you go on, whether it's the west coast or the east coast, we have got some awesome rides, as we said before. You can pick the ride that you want. Basically, if you want to just sit back and enjoy a straight ride, or if you want to get into the corners and the bends, we've got them all here, where we can cater for anyone.
Someone once said to me that Tasmania is motorcycle heaven. You reckon that's accurate?
Mate, it's definitely, we don't want the secret to get out because obviously, we want to keep this secret to ourselves. The less people know about it, the less we have coming down and taking advantage of it. But unfortunately, word gets out, so yeah, we have got a great set of roads, and the people here are all quite friendly too, so no matter where you go, no matter what suburb or town you stop in, you'll always get a wave or a nod. It's really good.
It's a fabulous place to ride. We have beautiful roads, we've got great weather most of the year, although people complain about the winter it being a bit cold, but not really. And believe it or not, the police down here are not so hell-bent on revenue raising, and most of the police that you will meet at any time in Tasmania are pretty good and pretty accommodating. And they're more out to look after people and make sure people are safe, but they will give you a bit of a break if you've got the throttle wound on a bit.
I discovered the road, my man. I discovered the road in Tasmania. I live on the East Coast. When I arrived 14 years ago, no straight line, almost no police, no traffic. The speed limit was directly related to the size of your testicles. And I loved it.
Tell us about Rant.
We started in response to a rider's death in Darwin. Our founding member's father was knocked off his Harley by a drunk driver who left him on the side of the road to die. So as a result of that, and the court outcomes for the driver being given a really minor punishment, we decided to start a lobby group in the NT designed to raise awareness of riders on the road and to try and address the inappropriate court sentences that some drivers get for killing motorcyclists on the road. So that was about 10 years ago now, and since then we're slowly getting more accepted as the voice of the riders in the NT.
What sort of issues are you facing up here?
Up here, dress standards are one thing. People tend not to wear good protective clothing because of the temperature. It's beautiful riding weather, so people tend to wear shorts and t-shirts a bit. Another issue for riders is the costs. registration is the most expensive in Australia, and we're also pushing really hard for more rider awareness content, I suppose, in the schools driver training, which is aimed at teenagers, and that's where we think the future of rider safety is with the new drivers coming through now, and to try and include that in their driver training curriculum.
One of the issues that Dave from Hog here mentioned is the wire rope barriers. Is that a big problem in your mind?
We don't have as many as, say, Victoria or New South Wales, but I have lobbied the government about them and pointed out the dangers of them. They're unacceptable, and there are a lot of better alternatives that would make it safer for every road user.
So how long have you been involved with Hunter?
I've been involved with Hunter for 4 years now, and big news this year that my partner and I, Trudy, just bought out the company, so we're the sole owners now.
Now tell us about the customising that you've done to your Hunter that's sitting underneath you.
Well, this one I just threw together this week for especially for the ride.
Oh, of course, so we can see that. The paint job wouldn't have taken you long at all.
Yeah. So obviously it's got custom painted tins on it. The front end was off a curbside collection off a dirt bike. I just lowered that 4 inches and bolted that on. The bars they're a Hunter part. We sell those as an accessory. Grips, Hunter part again. Fishtails, we do those as well. So apart from the forks, which I scabbed off the side of the road, the rest of it's all Hunter parts.
Now the custom paint work, how'd you get that done?
We supply sets of custom painted tins. We have our own guy paint them, and they're ready there as a set to buy. People can just grab them straight off us if they like the design.
So you actually do a range of custom paint work to go with the Hunter bike?
We've just started doing it. We've only got 4 sets of tins done sort of on spec just to see if we liked them and how they go, and that's why I put them on the bike, just to display them and let people know that it's out there. There's some a quick bolt-on paint job available if you want it.
There are motorcycles, and then there are motorcycles. When Bon Jovi sung "I'm a Cowboy on the Steel Horse I Ride," there's no doubt he was referring to this motorcycle, the Softail Deluxe. You want a ride that rumbles, not begs for mercy when you lean on it a little, and the 6-speed box matched up with the power plant V-twin makes this thing a dream. The Softail came in 1984, and in case you're not aware of what Softail actually means, it's an aesthetic thing. It gives the impression that the bike's actually a hardtail, but in actual fact, this whole thing moves, and underneath is the suspension. Pretty ingenious. The story of the Softail is pretty cool in itself. An engineer in St Louis comes up with a cantilever swing arm device. He presents it to Willie G. Davidson. Willie G says, "Oh, that's cool, I'd like to use that." After a few years of development, hey presto, the Softail is born. Harley Davidson now have 11 models featuring the Softail design. The Softail Deluxe is one of the 11 Harley Davidson Softail models, but it harkens back to Harley's original designs. Big headlights, big guards, running boards, but it's got ABS brakes. This thing stops on a dime. With 103 cubic inches, Harley Davidson knew that they were onto a good thing with the Softail, so much so they trademarked the word Softail. I don't even think I can say it now. Don't tell anyone. That's why the Harley Davidson Softail Deluxe is a sled we'd love in our shed.
Now, Adrian, the Jackpot's done really well out here.
Yes, it's one of our most popular models here, Greg. Last year it was our #1 selling bike. The addition of the orange and the black, along with the white and black graphics treatment last year was very, very popular. This year we added the red paint job here we see in front of us. Again, trends change each year, styles, colours come in and out. So again, we're doing well this year with it, but it's probably not our #1 selling bike this year. We've seen a little bit of a swing to some of the baggers this year.
What is it about the ride of a Jackpot that you think appeals to people?
I think it's the massive 250mm rear end tyre you've got and the combination of 21-inch front, so it's a real statement. It's that old kind of stock chopper styling that people loved, that classic iconic look. The swept lines of the bike, the sculpted tank, and again the fact that you've got the painted frame and the swing arm all come standard on the bike, along with a lot of the chrome that, you know, for many other brands you pay a lot more to do that to a bike, to customise it.
Now, when we were up in Brisbane, we did have one of our guys test ride a Jackpot. That was a new model.
Yes, it was the 2013 one that just came out in the orange and black with graphics. So again, I believe you had a set of our Expo pipes on there, which give it that little bit of more sound.
Yeah, it wasn't quiet, mate.
No, it is probably the most popular accessory fitted to a Jackpot, after maybe some different mirrors and a bit more bling, so to speak. Yeah.
DNA. What do we know about it? Well, we're made of it, pretty much. They made a whole movie series on giant dinosaurs coming out of the swamps with DNA, and of course it ruined Bill Clinton's career. But what about MotoDNA? What do we know about that? Well, absolutely nothing. That's why we're here at Sydney Motorsport Park for MotoDNA. Let's go and check it out. And who better person to talk to than the Director of Coaching from MotoDNA, Mark Irish McVie. Hello, Mark.
G'day, Jonesy. How are you?
I'm great. I can listen to that accent all day.
Thanks very much. Yours isn't too shabby.
So, look, I didn't know this would be a flattery session, but let's talk about MotoDNA and who comes along to this.
Boys and girls and mums and dads from about 9 years old to 80 years old. So we train adults that want to ride on the road, and we teach them advanced skills so they've got a better understanding of their limit and the limit of their motorcycle. And that basically transfers when they go on the road. They're obviously riding at a much lower limit, but because they've got the higher skill, they're less likely to have a problem with a survival reaction on the road.
But what do you get when you pay your money to come for a MotoDNA course? Hopefully you'll be talking to some sort of expert. Kevin Magee's here. Do you know of any motorcycling experts?
Yeah, there's quite a few, and there's a few of us at DNA, and I did say us. There's Peter Goddard, Mark Willis at this particular one. Normally there's guys like Gary McCoy, 500 Grand Prix winners and things like that.
What is the most basic thing that you can teach someone who's just got their P's on their bike? What's the most basic thing you can teach them?
Motorcycle's a complex piece of machinery because it needs so many different inputs, because you steer with the foot pegs, you steer with the handlebars. You do so many more things with the arm, like the right arm, for example, is steering, brakes and throttle.
You've got to multitask.
It's more complex than that.
What, more complex than multitasking?
Multitasking's easy.
Who are better riders, men or women, if that's the case?
People,
but women are great multitaskers. They say men are hopeless.
Oh, I reckon that's a little bit of a myth.
Really? Belinda, you are a woman?
Yes.
Can you answer that question? Are men better riders than women?
Not necessarily, no.
What, you can't answer the question, or?
I can answer it. Women are just as good.
Just as good. Nice diplomatic answer. So how long have you been doing this for? How long have you been riding for?
I've been riding for 20 years, but with a break of 15 years. So only returning back to the track and the bike in the last 10 months.
Right, and why did you have a break?
To become a mother.
Of course. It just doesn't look good when a pregnant woman rides a bike, does it?
Certainly not.
You might as well be holding a can of beer and a cigarette as well. And what about the next level of racing superstars on the track? Where will they be in, say, 5 or 6 years from now? Well, let's ask one. Troy Gunther. Hello, Troy.
Hey, how's it going?
Mate, I'm going very well. Let's talk about you. How good are you?
I'd like to say I'm pretty good. I mean, I've had international racing experience. I've won national titles, so I'd like to be humble about it, but I'll say I'm a good rider, yeah.
So would you be like the next Casey Stoner? Could that be possible?
I believe I've got the potential to do so. I mean, I'm putting my family in, putting everything into this. They believe in me and I believe in myself, so I'm going to give it all.
Who are the guys that should be here?
Well, the guys that should be here are the highest accident statistics, and they're sort of 45 to 55 year old, and we are working hard to try and get those guys here, but they're probably the lower attendance demographic at the minute.
I've found that you can never not benefit from some training.
Yeah, I mean, it's really some of the skills that you need, like for emergency braking, for example, they really should be instinctive, but we don't practice emergency braking every day or every week or even every month sometimes, so it's just good to come along to the training. We use a lot of video cameras here so we can show the students how they're riding with the video, and that makes it really clear what they need to do.
So this is where better riders are made. And quite frankly, I've learned a bunch of stuff today, and I haven't even really ridden. So think about that next time you're out there on the mean streets. Get some Moto DNA.
Looks like these race meetings are well attended. Do you think this indicates that drag racing is very popular in the Northern Territory?
Oh, absolutely. The Northern Territory is particularly a motorsports a town for sure. You look at the population and the number of people that come down to the track. It's a lot better than, say, places like Sydney where there's huge populations and not that large crowd. So Darwin's right into it. They love their drag races.
Scott White is from the Northern Territory on the old Dutch Master Suzuki as it was back in the days.
I'm running number 3 for the country. The bike runs 7.3 seconds over the quarter mile at 181 miles an hour, covers the first 60 feet in 1 second. I think I'm the only Northern Territorian that's ever got into the top 3 of a Group 1 championship, so doing pretty well and doing it from here, you know, a lot of distance, a lot of travelling. I'm sort of proud that I'm carrying the Territory flag around the country. I'm certainly doing well.
You're the first Christian drag racer we've actually met. Is there many others that you found over the rest of the country?
Yeah, there's a few in Queensland that I've met, and there's also Races for Christ, which is an organisation that I've run into. I think they ran Nitro Harleys. Most people, when they think of Christians, they think of Ned Flanders on The Simpsons, and so it's kind of good to upset them a little bit and you know, change that perception that, what, you go fast and you're a Christian? Well, yeah.
Now, middle of 2014, the New South Wales government introduced lane filtering, made it legal. How exciting is that? It's a product of a lot of work by the Motorcycle Council of New South Wales, notably Rob Colligan and CJ Burns, both of whom are previous chairmen. Now, all I can say is that it's a sort of idea that should spread around the country. John, how good an idea is this?
It's a great idea. It legitimises what was already a practice anyway. People were lane filtering, and the police had to work hard to figure out ways to book them. That's all changed now. It's changed for the better. It gets rid of a lot of congestion, and congestion kills cities. So less congestion, better for everyone.
It's been successful. The New South Wales government has accepted that it's got benefits. The stats that we located said that it was 6 times safer for riders, and hopefully we'll be able to show that it should be filtering throughout the whole of the country.
Queensland are looking at it. WA have informally endorsed it. It just makes sense. It's just common sense. And there's so many benefits to it with the fighting congestion, helping the environment, keeping riders safer, which is the important thing.
Traffic filtering has existed since there's been traffic, and it happens safely around Melbourne every day. And there are laws against doing it dangerously. It's called dangerous riding. They can book the ones that are doing it wrong. What they're trying to do is bring in more laws to stop traffic filtering altogether. That's my opinion.
We've got to congratulate New South Wales for what they've done, but in saying that also now it gives us the ammunition to go towards our government up here in Queensland and all the other states, because yesterday it was illegal and it was the most dangerous thing you could do, where today it's legal. So they really haven't got an argument anymore now, have they?
Now, we're down here at Wakefield Park talking to Sean Condon. He's unfortunately limping at the moment. Sean, what happened to you, mate?
I had a crash on a dirt bike about a week and a half ago, and in doing that I dislocated the ankle, so therefore it's broken a few bones off in there and some ligament damage and soft tissue damage. So I had it operated on about a week ago now, just to remove all the broken bones and fix it up. So I'm definitely not in the best of shape. I shouldn't really even be riding.
I guess in this competition you've really got to be out there every week.
Oh yeah, 100%, you know, it's so tight, the level of riders that are in it, you know, the factory teams, so yeah, you definitely can't afford to just give points away.
Sean is a real quality rider, and yes, he is a young rider, and I think in the next couple of years you'll see him on the podium on a regular basis.
He's the leading privateer in the series, and we've got an association with him. As a young rider coming through, he's been able to mix it with the best as well, and I think, you know, from all reports, you know, he's showing a lot of improvement. He's had a couple of podium finishes, which has been great.
Clearly, Sean's in really good company because Mick Doohan rode for a number of seasons with serious leg injuries, and I guess if you're going to win this sort of championship, you're going to progress, you have to be that committed.
You do have to be committed. Like, all these races are pretty strong, and Sean's a bit of a bulldog. When he puts that helmet on, he just sort of puts all the pain aside. To him, he just wants to improve, and realistically, he just wants to win.
Sounds like you're really enjoying it.
I haven't been doing it as long as most out there, but yeah, no, as soon as I chucked my leg over a road bike, I fell in love with it straight away.
You know, you did really well out on that track.
Thanks, mate. I tried to go as fast as I could.
I love your leathers. You haven't scraped them too much.
I get kicked off the track when I wear this stuff.
We'll see you next week. Shiny side up.